Good time zone, friends. It's Druidspire, and I'm here with the latest news from Dungeons & Dragons Online. This particular video is not going to be evergreen because it only applies to a short period of time, basically from today until August 31st, 2025. What's happening on July 15th, which is a Tuesday, DDO is going to initiate their migration to 64-bit servers from the current 32-bit worlds. Now, they have published this guide, which I will link in the thing below, and you can play the home game later on if you so desire. So basically, this goes over most of the main questions that people have. This is the procedure of what to do when you're trying to get your stuff from 32 bits to 64 bits. First thing to be aware of is you can't stay. If you don't move your characters across by August 31st, you'll lose access to those characters on the 32-bit worlds until they set those servers back up afterwards in a ghost world state until approximately 2 years. 2 years or more. Anyhow, let's get into the current stuff. So just bearing in mind, there is a bit of a deadline, and you want to get your stuff moved now. Get ready to move it, because when making this video, it's almost 2 weeks before the shenanigans begin. Okay, so let's follow along at home. First of all, let's get into our instructions. So what is happening? Again, this is the short version of the story. Standing Stone is opening 3 new 64-bit worlds, 2 in the US and 1 physically located in the EU. They've kind of hemmed and hawed about where it actually is. However, I happen to know from a Lotro dev from QA who said so specifically in the Lotro official Discord. The EU servers are in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So, for folks in the EU, that means you will now have a server where the latency is not terrible. However, there are some considerations for guilds who are currently in a North American server where there's, Americans and Europeans playing together. People got to make decisions. I leave that to you. Let's focus on this document for now. So basically, what's going to happen is on July 15th, Standing Stone will bring the worlds up from downtime. So we're going to have a Tuesday downtime. All the worlds will be doing their usual downtime, and what this particular downtime will do is it enable a pack command, a series of transfer commands relating to this whole stuff. And how it's going to work is people will be able to execute these commands, transfer, whatever, and then pack the stuff up, transfer to the destination world, and then unpack over there. So let's take a look at it in a little bit more in depth. When do the transfers begin? As they say here, we're going to scroll up a little bit. They're going to launch the 3 new worlds on available, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically, as they say, players will be able to log into Moonsea, Shadowdale, and Thrain, the 3 new worlds, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is -4 GMT, on July 15th. People who want to go to Cormyr, however, because Cormyr is already open, it's going to come up with the rest of the game worlds whenever they're done with the maintenance on all the game worlds. So, for example, if the rest of the game worlds come up at noon, Cormyr is going to be available to transfer into, except the transfer wizard will not be available until 2 o'clock. So Cormyr will be available if you want to create placeholder characters and get ready to move your stuff to Cormyr. However, you won't be able to actually do it until 2 o'clock. So, again, Cormyr will be available for new character creation as soon as the worlds in general come up. Transferring or creating new characters on Thrain, Moonsea, and Shadowdale start at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Or shortly thereafter, I imagine. Alright. So, as the image says, you prepare your stuff. People have been doing that for a few weeks now, ever since we kind of knew that this was going to start happening. And they had done a previous post to say, here's the new servers, da, 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 da. And then they edited to change the name of the one server from Auric to Shadowdale, because people threw a fit about Auric. It is what it is, right? Okay, so prepare your stuff, which means going through all of your character alts on all the existing servers, deciding what to keep, deciding what to throw away, set your stuff up to get your stuff ready to go. I myself have done most of that work on all of my servers. I've kind of decided where everybody's going. The only thing I really haven't done yet is I haven't really completely sorted out all of my stuff on Orion, because whatever. Alright, so you prepare your stuff ahead of time. Do that now. Do it now! Then you use the pack command, and then you transfer a character using the transfer wizard, and then you unpack at the destination. So here's the prepare part with a nice graphic to show you what it kind of looks like. Now, if you're taking all of your stuff from one world to another world, it's pretty gosh darn simple for you. Because you don't have to worry, you don't have to do the Charlie Day thing of like the cork board with the strings going all over the place. You just know you're laser focused. I'm going from Orient to wherever. And that means you're going to have the easiest time of it. So, if you're only transferring your shared account items to one world, then easy peasy, get all your stuff, clean out your mail, clean out your auctions. If you're a guild leader, clean out your, well, you have to basically clean out your guild airship chests. Because if you don't clean out your guild airship chests, that stuff goes bye-bye. So, get that stuff out of there because it ain't going across. Okay. Also, make sure you have claimed any Monster Manual rewards you wish to claim. If there's any Monster Manual stuff, we'll get into that a little bit later. If there's any Monster Manual stuff that you're kind of a little bit close to, you'll want to finish those before you do a pack command, basically. Alright. So what you're going to do, let's say you're ready to go. Okay. One thing you want to bear in mind is if you are one of those people who are going to multiple worlds, there's a few things you need to be aware of. First of all, your account storage will go with whoever goes packs and transfers first. Basically, what you want to do is you do not want to pack and then lollygag around. You want to pack and then transfer, unpack. Pack, transfer, unpack. Get through that process. If you are a fan of Anne McCaffrey's Crystal Singer books, you know it's like packing crystal. Once you mind it, you don't stand there staring at it. You cut the crystal, you store it in the box, and then you go for the next one. Okay, so as they say here, sending items in your shared bank, crafting storage, plat storage, or other account-based systems to multiple game worlds is accomplished by placing items into the inventory of a character you want to send across. Because if you want your shared bank to be split up amongst multiple characters or multiple worlds, make a character that's like has some name saying I'm going to Thrain on this character. I'm taking these things to Thrain. I'm taking these things to Shadowdale. I'm taking these things to Moonsea. I'm taking these things to Cormyr. And put those specific items that you want to go to those servers in that character's inventory. If you need more mules, Standing Stone's got you covered with a couple of fun things. So, the important thing is about your pets and your mounts. They will go with the first character you pack. So make sure that you send the character that you want your stuff on to the... Okay, so for example, I've got most of my mounts most of my pets are on Orion, for example. I want those to go to Shadowdale. So my first pack transfer unpack is going to Shadowdale. Before I do anything else, that's the first thing I'm going to do. And then what that will mean is on Orion, afterwards, if you scroll down in the article a little bit further, once you pack your account level stuff on character A, you will see that those things no longer exist in your pets, in your stable. Basically, they don't exist anymore. So you want to make sure that you got your stuff ready to. So prepare your stuff before you pack. Make sure it's on the right character, destined for the right server, that you're ready to go. And then when you're ready to transfer /transfer pack in chat. Not in chat here in the comments, but in chat in game. Alright. So the selected character must contain the items that you're looking to transfer, and then you do your /transfer pack. Then when you're ready, you do your transfer in the transfer window. You log out of you log out of the game. You will then go to the transfer. You log back into the launcher before you pick a server. You go to hit the button that says transfer when it's available, and you're going to choose which character you are going to send across. Red Rover, Red Rover. One thing to note, you cannot transfer a character that has not packed. But Druid, you may ask, how can you tell? If you log out in the character select, there will be a big shiny red thing saying packed. That character will be available in the transfer window to send across. One thing you won't see is a character that you can't transfer. Like right now, before this whole thing starts, you don't see guild leaders in the transfer window. Once the guild leader is packed up, you will then see them in the transfer window. It'll be fun. So, let's get back into it here. So, let's say you've divvied up your stuff amongst your mules. You're ready to go. /transfer pack packs up that character. You want your guild leaders to go first so they can, start up the guild and, get things ready for the guildies to come in. If a guildie unpacks their stuff before the guild leader unpacks the guild, it's okay. No panic. The guildie will just have to do an unpack command again, /transfer unpack. And that will take that guildie's guild information and slap it back onto the guild. However, the guild leader will have to re-officer everybody, re-successor whoever their successor was. Those things do not get preserved. Alright. So, you pack your stuff. It's like packing up your adjectives, right? For those who remember Schoolhouse Rock. So, you got your stuff divvied up, you got your characters packed, you send your character across, and then what happens? You can do /transfer list in in-game chat, and it will detail whether or not a character is currently packed and what has been associated with that particular character. And the screenshot right here will show you, oh hey, this character has not packed for transfer, so we have nothing on them. Yay. And there's also a message about your guild being transferred. Packing data for world transfer. Astral Shards, Platinum. Your guild has been packed for transfer. And of course, in the screenshot, they did blur out the name of the guild and whatnot because it is a thing. Alright. And it tells you how much plat you have, how much shards that are in your guild. And they'll tell you about your cosmetic pets, your mounts, and your shared storage. One thing to bear in mind is the list will only show the first 1,000 items. So if you have a ton of crap, well, it's going to overflow. So just keep that up. So once you're done, transfer your stuff. Normally a transfer costs DDO points. They are turning off paid transfers as part of this process until the free stuff is done. And then what will happen is, while these free transfers are going on, you can choose any and all of your characters to send across at once per server. Like, let's say I have 10 characters I want to send from Orient Shadowdale. I could do that if I wanted to. However, I will caution you. Okay? Basically, however, it's kind of like a constipation thing. We'll make a poo joke here. In that the more stuff you try to send at the same time means it's going to take longer for that stuff to get through. So if you're really hyper about a name, or especially a guild name, or you want your guild ready to go, you want your airship, you want to get done, send your guild leader first. Okay, get that done, get that out of there. Send the guild leader, wait for that one transfer to get done, then unpack the guild leader, and then go back for the others, however. But basically, the idea is here, don't do them all at once. Because if everybody just sends everything all at once, it's going to back up the transfer process for everybody. So, basically, be wise. The trick here, honestly, I think what a lot of people are going to do is they're not even going to transfer right away. They're going to log into the various worlds and grab their names. That's what the hell I'm going to do. Is I'm going to go in and hop on Shadowdale, grab as many of my names as I currently have. Maybe a few cool names that I can't get on Orient because Orient is an ancient server and it's hard to find new names that haven't already been in use. And then once I have that situated, then I will start doing the transfer. I'll probably transfer the guild pretty early. One thing you want to bear in mind if you've never done a transfer before, when you send a transfer through, if you're in game, it's going to kick you out of the game. It might give you an erroneous message about you being banned. It's actually not banned. You're not banned. Okay, unless you did something bad and Standing Stone caught you just the exact same time, which is very unlikely. But basically, they use that sort of account lock to kick you out of the game and to make sure that your account is not in use when it's trying to transfer stuff. So no panic if you see, oh, you got banned. Just don't be in game when you initiate the transfer. Log out of the game, do the transfer, and then log back in and unpack your ship. Okay. So, you do your transfer. The transfer wizard is pretty much going to work exactly the same way it does now. Again, for those who have not ever done a transfer before, it's actually not that scary. What you do is you click the transfer button, you pick the world of your origin, you pick the character or characters you want to send over, and then you click through the things and it says, congratulations, your stuff is going. Do make sure that you've picked the right 64-bit server, because if you don't, you may be waiting to get to your corrected server, because they will allow for 64 to 64 transfers. Like, let's say you went to Shadowdale, but you actually went to hang out with the kids on Thrain, then you'll be able to fix that later on, but it'll take some time before they open that up. So that'll be in August, probably at the earliest, maybe September, who knows. They've been a little bit vague about that, so I don't think they've really decided when that's going to happen, but hopefully soon. They have to basically take the data from New Jersey and move it to Las Vegas. Go figure. Alright, so follow the instructions in the transfer wizard. You should receive an email if you're subscribed to Standing Stone emails. You can check that at my account, standingstonegames.com. Just like it right there, it says there. However, from experience of seeing how it happened on the Lotro side, a lot of people did not get the emails. The only way they knew is they logged back into the game world, their original one, and saw that the character was gone, or they logged into the new world and saw that the character was there. So, in normal circumstances, a transfer takes a minute. However, when everybody and their cousin and their cousin's brothers, uncles, roommate from college are transferring, it's going to take longer than usual. So, hopefully it won't go as sideways as it did for Lotro, but there's also the good hope that because they've already been through this is not Standing Stone's first rodeo, that they've put in some protections to prevent that chaos. And it was a little rough, but they got through it. All right, they got through it. And One of the things I would also caution people in general is don't try to start a panic. Don't freak out about, but what if this happens? But what if that happens? But no. Just stop. If something currently transfers now and transfers just fine, let's play it safe and say it's probably gonna be okay, because they weren't changing any of that stuff, right? Let's not go into disaster scenarios until we actually have to, and I personally don't foresee that happening, so it is what it is. Alright, and as I mentioned, paid transfers between the game worlds will be temporary, unavailable starting July 15th for the duration of the transfer period, which again ends on August 31st. Alright, moving on. What you do once you get to the destination, you're going to unpack your adjectives. And this is basically /transfer unpack. Ooh. And then that's going to take a while depending on how much crap you have on that character or on your account or whatever. Again, the things that are expected to transfer just fine are the things that transfer just fine now. So if you're used to having a high PL character, lots of past lives, and they transferred fine in the past, they should transfer fine going on this process. I mean, there's always the possibility something happens, but I prefer not to borrow trouble until I need to. Okay, one thing about guilds, and this is very, very, very important. Don't create a new guild. The reason I'm saying that's very important is because if you create a new guild, like you get to your destination world with your guild leader and you hit that create button, you just messed your guild up. Because it'll overwrite your guild data on your character. If you create a new guild before you unpack, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't listen to Emperor Palpatine. Stay strong. Don't do it. Just, if you're a guildie, do not create a new guild on your own. Like, oh my god, I'm worried about my guild name. Don't worry about it. If you're not the guild leader, don't worry about it. Let the guild leader handle their business. Because what's going to happen is that it's going to mess stuff up. Alright. And again, if you have a lot of things to unpack, it will impact game performance. So I would recommend probably not going to do any gameplay. Like, let's say you unpacked all your stuff early on, or you just want to play on your new server, check out the new 64-bit hotness. Yeah. Just bear in mind during the biggest rush of this transfer process, the servers are probably going to be a little bit wacky. It's going to be what it is. Okay, and they specify particularly between zone and between spaces or interacting with banks, crafting stations, or NPCs. There is a mention of storage overflow, and this is unusual for Standing Stone, but this is how it's going to work. If you unpack more items, then you have access to slots in your storage. Well, it kind of works like what they already did. Your storage will go into an overflow state. If you have a full shared bank or other form of storage or in unpack, additional items will populate into your storage and put you into an overflow state, blah, blah, blah. You can continue to unpack and continue adding to your overflow. It's kind of like if you have all the expansions and you go to the expansion NPCs in the Hall of Heroes and you overflow your inventory, talking to all the NPCs and getting all of your stuff from the expansions, and you just keep adding to it. It's going to be the same basic concept, same basic tech. So your stuff will all get to the destination. Alright, so there have been a ton of frequently asked questions. Many things players were concerned about, and I have to say, Standing Stone actually did a lot of work to make this pretty solid for everybody. One of the biggest concerns was guild renown. people are concerned that, you know, some of their guildies who may have unfortunately passed on or may not be around to participate in this and will catch up later, or they choose to go to a different server or whatever, your guild renown is going to be safe. Alright, so guidance for guild leaders. This applies to me, so I have to pay attention to this too. When your guild character uses the transfer pack command, most information about the current state of the guild will be packed with that character. Again, make sure your guild chests have been emptied before running the transfer /pack or /transfer space pack command, and consider making note of where you placed your guild airship amenities, as you will need to put them back down again. Thank you for putting the hyphen in there, Cordo. I appreciate that. We gave Cordo a little bit of grief about the fact that he had used replace without the hyphen, and it led a number of people to freak out and say, does this mean we have to buy them all over again? No. Your guild airship amenities, if they're already bought, they're already bought. You just have to replace them down. You have to just put them back down again. Alright. Your guild airship and information about contributions of gold or ashel, it says gold, plat, a plat or ashel shards are packed with the guild leader characters. So basically all of your unlocks, your guild banks, as it were, will go with the guild leader character. Guild members do not need to wait to unpack. You'll just need to, guildies will just need to do the /transfer unpack command a second time. Your guild message of the day, your guild level, your guild renown total, your airship, and other aspects of your guild are intact after you unpack. I believe they said something that you have to rename your guild airship, so if you don't remember what your guild airship name is, probably make a note of that. Again, empty your guild chests of any items you want to retain, because they go bye-bye if you don't. And this is something I wasn't expecting, but it's very nice. They have created a couple of coupon codes to address issues where the airship walls, like the walls, the elemental ring, and other cosmetic selections will not transfer with you. Your airship will be factory fresh. New car smell. And there's more information down below, and we'll get into that in just a moment. And when they unpack, again, guildies will have to be re-promoted to officer or successor. That doesn't come across. And this is the important thing about renown. They are pausing guild renown decay, which is something that only applies to guilds above 151 and higher. So they're pausing guild renown decay until August 31st. The changes will take effect on July 15th, so that's going to be really cool for those biggie guilds who have earned the privilege of guild renown decay. Long gone guildies who don't return will not be on your roster in the new world, but their historic contribution to your guild renown will not be lost. Eventually, they'll re-enable daily renown decay, which applies to guilds once they reach the 151. And then when individual guild members unpack, their associated guild renown contribution is added to the guild's historical data. The guild level and renown total of your guild when the guild leader packs is preserved, and it stays when they unpack. Do not use the create button on either the old guild or on the old server as a guildie, or on the new server as a non-guildie, basically don't use the create button. Do not use the create guild button. No. Alright, let's keep going. Guidance for guildies. Again, do not press create. Don't do it. Basically, your renown sticks with you. However, a copy of your renown stays with the guild anyway, so basically, they're not going to lose your stuff. And once you unpack after the guild is created on the destination, then your stuff will just link up. So this is another big question. What about the monster manual? So this is a little bit different than what I was expecting. There's one piece of information that's very fascinating, I might note. Firstly, monster manuals do not transfer. That was... Honestly, I wasn't too surprised about that. What I am a little surprised about is what they're doing about it. Basically, they're telling folks, if you're close to a milestone in your monster manual, get it. Get your unlocks, get your stuff, whatever, what you gotta do, because that doesn't transfer on over. However, the fascinating part for me is that second paragraph that says, they intend to refactor the monster manual in a more comprehensive way in the future. And this is the good part. I mean, that's fascinating that they're going to take a look at it and refactor it. We don't know exactly what that means. Hopefully it means it makes things a little bit easier. But the important thing here is they are removing the display of hit points from being gated by the monster manual. Everyone will be able to see hit points of monsters. Wow! I was not expecting that. And that's going to start on the 15th. I mean, that's one of the main... Okay, it's not one of the main reasons. People like monster manuals, but being able to see the hit points of what you're beaten up on, that's huge. And taking it away from being gated by the monster manual, that's a big win right there. I love it. Now, what this means, however, overall is if your monster manual is broken, I'm looking at you, Dan Donk. We love you. You are very persistent. I love the fact that you are persistent, but you're not a jerk about it, right? I definitely respect you for that. But Dan Donk, I think your long nightmare might be over, because when you transfer, you get all fresh, new, unbroken monster manuals, and you can go to town. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for you, man. It's going to be exciting. What about the reincarnation cache? Same stuff, different day. There has been a thing where an old version of the transfer website said that the reincarnation cache doesn't transfer. And people got it into their heads. But then some years later, they fixed that to where it does transfer. And so your reincarnation cache, you don't need to do anything with it. It's just gonna go with you. It's all good. Really nice. What about your pets and mounts? This is important. Your creature companion stable and mount stable are packed with your character. So the first character who packs grabs up that information, and it's going to take it to wherever that character goes. Right? So if you pack up your main guild leading character and you send them across to a 64-bit world, that's the world that's going to get all that stuff. So you can't repack your creatures and then copy them over to the other worlds. However, if you happen to save creature companion certificates in inventory in places, you can do that. Alright. However, one thing to note, with creature companions, Standing Stone hasn't been able to fix an issue where people who have custom names for their pets, basically the first pet who goes across is the custom name. Like, if you have a custom name at all, like if you haven't done you haven't renamed that pet at all, then you should be fine. But if you have renamed that pet, the first character who has it gets to name that pet. Any subsequent transfers of other versions of that same pet from other servers will not resolve that issue. However, the cool thing, let's keep on going. Pets and mounts right here is there is a coupon code that's going to come out on the 15th of July. Available to redeem through the end of the year, which is a little bit unusual, a little bit different. It's called My Pet Is Called, and that's going to be all capital letters, no spaces. My Pet Is Called. And that will grant you 10 free pet renames. And there are already people going, but 10's not enough, I need a 0 at the end of that. I feel you, man. Alright. What about your saga progress, raid flagging, quest completions? Well, they just go loop right across. So your saga progress will stick around, your raid flagging, your quest completion, so you don't have to go do all that other fun stuff again. That'll be fun. Alright, does your character bank go with you? Yup, as it always did. No different. Okay, so what happens if somebody has your character name? And this also kind of applies to the guild name as well, a little bit. So, what if you go across to your new home, but you get the dreaded -1, -2, -whatever? Functionally, here's how it's going to work. Is if you can prove some sort of griefing, trolling, harassment, that somebody stole your name, and basically brags about it, then basically you can put in a ticket with customer service. I will caution that they are still digging themselves out of the stuff that happened with Lotro, so it may be a while before they get back to you. However, in most cases where harassment, trolling, griefing is not a thing, it's going to be first come, first serve. So if you are Bob on Orion, and there's also a Bob on, I don't know, Kyber, and both of you transfer to Shadowdale, whoever gets there first gets the name, or whoever creates the name. Like, if somebody logs in and creates a character named Bob on Shadowdale, while Orion and Kyber are waiting for the transfers to go through, well, Bob, who just created from character generation, is going to get the name right then and there. So, basically, if there's a name you really want, jump right on it on the server you want. And one thing to note, all 3 servers are going up at the same time. Have fun. And it's a little bit cynical, but yes. And from my understanding is they can't launch the servers at different times. They can't launch the transfer service at different times. It's going to be what it is. It's basically 3 worlds are coming up at the same time. It's going to be a land rush. I wish you well. It's going to be understandable with multiple people with the same common word name on the various servers are going to be scrabbling for space. It is what it is. Again, if you can prove harassment, get your evidence, put in a ticket with CS, and hopefully they can help you out. But if it's simply a case that you have Bob as your name and somebody else got to it first, there's not much they're going to be able to do. If I've been Bob since 2006, and then there's another Bob who just started playing last week. That's not malice necessarily, unless the new Bob player's like, hey, I got the name Bob! I don't care if anybody else has his name! So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I would say if there are names that you like, make a list and just jump on that server and create the names as quickly as you possibly can. And hopefully it goes well, and be flexible in alternatives. And I feel the pain of having character names from a very, very long time and having to change them. I've been there, I've done that. It kind of sucks. But ultimately, it is going to be first come, first serve. So, do what you gotta do, get some alternates in place, get yourself used to the idea of possibly having to rename some stuff. Same goes for the guild. If your guild rolls over, again, some guilds might get trolled because, they're guilds that there's some interpersonal drama going on there. So some guilds may need to rename, some guilds may not have to, but if you get the dreaded -1, -2, whatever on your character name or on your guild name, there is a rename command. For those who have done Hardcore League and sent stuff home, you're familiar with this. It's you go to chat, in-game, you type /change name and whatever new name you want for your character. And there's going to be a new command. It's going to be /guild rename and then the new name. And as long as the new name that you're choosing is not in use, you're going to be good to go. One thing to bear in mind is if you have a surname on your character, That doesn't change it. You can only change your first name. Ask me how I know. There has been a request for Standing Stone to give a few coupons for free surname renames, but that has not been announced at this time. They have not mentioned anything, but I have seen the request go through. Alright, what happens with your daily dice? Your daily dice counter sticks with your character. So if you've already rolled your daily dice on Orion, and then you pop on over to Shadowdale, your Shadowdale timer is the same as your Orion timer. So it's going to stay with whichever character unpacks first. So, yay. Alright. Or wherever you packed up that data, that character is the one that handles it. Alright. One thing to note, and it says here, is they're going to turn off daily dice on the closing worlds. Probably sometime before August 31st. I know there's some people, Syax, looking at you, who said, I'm going to still try. Knock yourself out, man. I think the only things you'll be able to do on the Ghost Worlds once they launch is do your pack commands, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be, it's going to be like hardcore, after party. They realized that, if they had a hardcore after party for like a month, people were still rolling their daily dice and their weekly gold rolls and were like taking all that crap home. So Standing Stone put an end to that. They're going to do the same thing. Alright, here's some goodness. How many character slots and how much should search will I have on your new game world? Right now, before August 31st, go to any world, go to the in-game store, go to the little button, the little place in the corner over here, and put in the code 100, the number 100, and the word slots, S-L-O-T-S in all caps, no spaces, 100 slots, and I'll highlight it on this document here if I can. No, I can't. But it's 100 slots right here where the cursor is, if you can see it. That will unlock 100 shared bank slots on your account. Limit 1 per account. This coupon is available to redeem through August 31st. Please note, you must have access to the shared bank feature in order to utilize shared bank storage. Access is granted through being VIP or through purchase in the DDO store. Somehow, my alt account must have unlocked it or something because I was able to use my 100 slots on that account, and that account is definitely not VIP. So, I must have unlocked it at some point. It do be what it do be. So, what doesn't transfer with you? Monster Manual Progress. Let me get back here. So, Monster Manual Progress and Unclaimed Rewards. So, if you're close to a milestone in Monster Manual stuff, do it! Get it done. Take your weekend, get it done. Mail. Some of you use the mail system as extra storage. Stop doing that. Clear it out. Get all that stuff in character inventories. Do what you got to do. No mail is retained. In a transfer, it goes bye-bye. Mail will become unavailable after August 31st or after you transfer your character to a destination world, whichever comes first. So if you don't complete your mail, like if you leave stuff in your mail and decide I'm going to transfer my characters when they come up for Ghost Worlds, your stuff in the mail goes bye-bye. So get your stuff out of your mail before August 31st. Auction houses will be closing prior to August 31st. You'll have more information on timing soon. Yay. Your guild rank, unless you're the guild leader, your daily dice, guild airship, chest storage, your friends list, your /ignore list. You're welcome to ignore me, I don't care. Can you really pack and transfer everyone at once? Yes, but again, the smaller amount of data you're trying to force through the transfer system at once, the better. So basically chew your food, do it in bite sizes. Don't do it all at once. Transfers are free from 32-bit to 64-bit. There will not be any paid transfers while this process is going on. Oh no! I lost my guild's airship cosmetics! What am I gonna do? Oh, look at that! Standing Stone has our back. I was actually surprised to see this. So, coupon codes available on July 15th and remain available till the end of the year. Airship's Ring, Airship Haul, Airship Stain, Airship Sail. 1 per account per code. And it shows you how to throw them into the thing. And these are kind of like your choose your discount codes. So you basically activate the coupon code, right? And you see the little thingy here in the corner, the little thingy here in the corner. And what that does is it'll give you a coupon code and tells you what it's good for. So what you do is you activate the Airship Stain item. I think the valid until August 2nd, 2025 code is wrong. We're going to ignore that. So you clip the coupon and then you go to the item that you want to buy. I love the fact that they used blue for this. Cordo, you're my favorite. So you go to the item you want to buy, and you see the little green thing down here. You're going to click the little green thing, and it's going to take the price of that item and zero it out. So that's really, really cool. This is how choose your own discount works. Same basic concept, same basic tech, it just works. Each coupon can redeem once per account through December 31st. So what happens after August 31st? Dun 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 dun. The 32-bit worlds will close to logins for however a short period of time. And they say shortly, they haven't said. They will then reopen them later on as ghost worlds. And what you can do is you can log in and do your /transfer pack commands, and then you transfer your crap out. And for about 2 years to finalize all of those last transfers from the 32-bit worlds that you can't actually play on after the 31st, for about 2 years afterwards, they go bye-bye forever. Sometime after August 31st, they also add, this will be something they'll talk about more in the future, they're going to be adding 64-bit to 64-bit free transfers for a period of time. However, the way they're going to do it, and this is based on my knowledge of how they did it on the Lotro side, is they will make it so that one world will be a destination, and then the other 3 worlds can transfer to that destination. That destination will not be able to transfer out at the same time. Basically, there's a limitation in their technology that doesn't allow a world to be available to transfer into and out of at the same time. So they need to make it so that one world is a destination, the other 3 will be origins, and then the next week, the way they did it on the other side is started with downtime. So as soon as the worlds come up from a downtime, then this server is the origin, this server is the origin, this server is the origin, and this world's the destination. So 3 into 1. Then the following week, they switch out, okay, take the destination, make it an origin, take one of the origins, make it a destination. Basically, flip-flop them around. So basically there's going to be, I imagine, probably about 8 weeks of this. So each server, Cormyr, Shadowdale, Thrain, and Moonsea, each become a destination. And then it'll be all kinds of fun. So if you accidentally get to the wrong place, you will be able to get to the right place and sort your shit out. And again, they say they do intend to get European players currently playing on Cormyr the ability to transfer to Moonsea for free for a limited period of time. So there's some shenanigans going on there. So they'll have more information about that in the future, but this is the current data right now on July 2nd, 2025. This video will self-destruct on August 31st. I don't know what I'm going to do with that on August 31st, but this is basically how it's going to work. If stuff transfers now, there shouldn't be any problem with it transferring in the future during this process. And they've added a means to allow people to get their stuff to these new 64-bit worlds. Alright? I will be available to chat and hopefully answer questions. There's also some answers on the DDO. I almost said Lojo. God, I almost did a slip like Cordo has been doing. But he's a busy boy. And, you know, he works for both games, so it happens. No worries. So, there are plenty of answers on the forums and in the DDO Discord. I'll post the link to the DDO Discord as well if you want to get in on that shenanigans. Let's see what we have here. There's an extensive article. They are aware of the large number of named pets and that 10 pet coupons aren't good enough, or 1 pet coupon for 10 renames is not good, or not good enough. But again, the 100 slots code is available now. Do it now. Get yourself 100 extra shared storage slots, but you do have to have access to shared storage to be able to use them. However, it's a freebie that maybe you get VIP later. Maybe you're off VIP for right now for whatever valid reason, and you're going to get VIP later. Use the code now so you have that extra 100 slots waiting for you when you can sub up again. So basically, don't panic. Stuff that works now should still work. The stuff that doesn't currently transfer, a little concerned, but let's see how it goes. Cordovan sounded very confident when he was discussing the situation on his Fridays at 4 last week. That was the one from June. One from June 27th. If you watch that Fridays at 4, he discussed the whole process, and he sounded very confident about it. Sometimes when he's not quite certain, it sounds a little bit different, but no, he sounded very sure of himself. So I'm gonna trust in Cord in that one. And yeah, so that's the whole transfer business. It's a lot to take in, but the good news is, again, the TLDR is prepare your stuff, put your stuff on mules to go to various servers if you want to make sure stuff gets to the right server. Like all my Keeneth crafting stuff is going to Shadowdale, however I need to manage that. And once you prepare your stuff, you're going to pack your stuff. Let's go back up here. So prepare, pack, transfer, unpack. I mean, it sounds a little bit easy, but there's still a lot of prep. Once the prep work is done and you have a plan, like make a list of, okay, I'm going to transfer this character to the server first, I'll transfer this next, transfer this, blah, 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 blah. If you make a plan and then just execute the plan and you'll be fine. And if something goes awry, take us to customer service. Alright. Thanks for watching. I will be on DDO stream Sundays at 8 p.m. However, toward the end of this process, I'll be going to Gen Con. Well, actually, midway through it. The end of July, I'm going to Gen Con. I hope to see you there. You can find me at the Catan booth. But anywho, this is the transfers from 32-bit to 64-bit. One thing this article doesn't mention that the original article did is that the old DDO forums, the ones you can currently access by going to forums-old.ddo.com, are going away as well. So if you want anything off of those, grab it while you still can, because they're going away on August 31st as well. So just keep that in mind. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you like my channel, subscribe to it. Costs you nothing. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.